All right, guys, welcome back. I'm excited about this one. I'm also kind of dreading this one. I have been really looking forward to talking about this match. Gonna have plenty to say here. This is APA 9-ball normal league night, so handicap format. And one of the things that really stood out to me right off the rip here, I won the lag, got the first break, and it's nice to have the break. It's nice to have control of the table. But when you're not racking for yourself, when you're not using a template rack, you kind of don't know what you're going to get from that. And so scratched off the break, just start off the match, which is tough. It's not going to be good for rhythm necessarily. So my opponent gets ball in hand. By the way, he is a skill level 7. I'm currently a skill level 8. And so the race is 65-55. So I have to go to 65. You see down there in the bottom left. And he has to go to 55. And so he did make the 1 ball. I'm going to do my best to keep track of the scoring. This is the first time I'm using my scoring macros, new scorecard, and with a 9-ball video. So a lot of firsts here tonight. I'm going to do my best. Hopefully the numbers all line up by the time we get to the end of the video. But he plays a good safe. It creates some distance here. I do have an edge on this 2-ball. And so what I opt to do is come super thin off the 2-ball. And I missed the 2-ball. So I didn't get any warm-up time on this table. I don't really have a sense of the speed of the table. Trusted a long, slow roll on that 2-ball, and it did roll off on me. So that does happen. Not all the tables are perfectly level. So I give up ball in hand for a second time in this game, and my opponent makes a really good shot on the 2-ball, allowing for a breakout shot on the 3-8, which was a bit of a cluster and a problem for him. And now he's got a reasonable straight-in shot on the 3 that takes him towards the 4. So high ball here to roll through. You're going to see some interesting stuff here tonight. I talked about it in my previous video, so for any of you who watched that, you'll know I'm settling into some new mental game strategies, thinking a lot about that. I'll talk about that in detail in the book review video that's coming out soon. But I'm still working on those techniques, and they are not second nature to me yet. So working on kind of incorporating that. Hey, I get back to the table. So he plays a sort of a slow roll off that 4-ball, and he mentioned something about it rolling off on him. I think it was hard for me to tell from where I was sitting. I was giving him the benefit of the doubt. We had some banter going back and forth, and I said, same thing happened to me on the 2-ball. So to his credit, it certainly could have been a roll-off situation. He might have also just overcut the 4 and just missed it, but hard to tell from here. Meanwhile, I'm going to play kind of low outside, a little bit of a drag draw shot to get a good angle from the 4 to the 5. 6 is hanging over the side pocket. You want to think about your line on the 6-ball from up here. That'll take you towards the 7. So yeah, well played there. And I've got a good line on the 6-ball, bit of a punch draw stroke to come into the 6 and float down table for the 7, just as planned. And as long as you get a good line on the 7, you're going to be able to track towards the 8 somehow. I think ideally you would want to be down below the 7, like somewhere in this window. That would naturally cut the 7-ball and take you towards the 8. In this case, I'm having to consider a cut on the 7, the punch back around the 9, and take me over towards the 8. But early match, settling in, I'm going to trust my stroke here and pretty much play exactly where I wanted to. I am trusting the table, though. I get a bit of a favorable roll this time, and I roll right up on the 8, so that worked out nicely. But early, still getting a feel for the table, trusting that slow 2-ball roll that you saw earlier, and then trusting this punch. It's a bit risky. In this case, it paid off for the 8-ball. Straight drawback here for the 9. Getting a feel for the speed. It's okay to feel those out. So again, gotta figure out how the table's feeling. I'll put that one away. And so that, I'm pausing the video just so I can get caught up on the score. That had him with 1 ball. right, jumping ahead a little here. It's going to show the racking. So he had 2 in that game, and I had 8. Double checking my score. Wanted to also show this part in the video. It's kind of interesting from that night. We discovered that the one ball was the wrong size, which was causing some racking issues. So I ended up having to go to the adjacent table and grab the one ball from that set and swap those out, and the size more closely matched. This will happen in pool rooms like this from time to time, especially ones that aren't very closely managed. And although this club takes good care of its equipment for the most part, every once in a while somebody will swap a ball out for whatever reason, or they'll get lost and they'll buy a replacement and then it's not exactly the right fit. So yeah, we had to swap out the one ball and we were able to get a more workable rack. And as always, I'm checking the rack. I'm reading it for the L patterns. Let's see what my break shot looks like here. Hit withdraw on that one, which I don't love. Some dead balls here. So just made one on the break and scratched. That's a dead ball. Nobody gets that point. Gives him ball in hand, but there's not much to do with this 1-9. The combo does not line up. So I believe he just considers us safe. Just going to create some distance for me here. I'd probably look at something similar. You could maybe come from behind the one ball, kind of where he's at. Try to play off it this way. It's sort of risky. If you have the cue ball over here, play thin into the one ball that way. This is a touchy spot. It's hard to get a good save here. You'll have to excuse all the foot traffic around the table too. So he touched it out. He was, I think, trying to be careful about not leaving the 1-9. And I start to line up a carom shot. So the cue ball coming off the 1 into the 9. There was not a lot of room on this 9 ball, and he ended up calling somebody over to watch the hit. I do attack this one to see if I can just kind of glide off the 1 and push the 9 close to the pocket. Maybe thinking that I had a chance to double kiss the 9 in. Luckily, the bank worked out on the 1 ball, so caught a bit of a roll there. And then in this case, I have to, so give myself that 1 ball. I have to consider a carom into the 7. I did look at that. The carom is on, so I could make the 7 ball. I didn't like it though because the position on the 2 was not guaranteed. So I opt for a safe. Oh, I try to bury him behind the 7 there, and a bit of a backup with sending the 2 ball behind the 9, but I was mostly just trying to control the cue ball position that time. Now he's got to make a good hit on the 2 ball. He's got a good window between the 5 and the 9. Overplays it just slightly. So gives up ball in hand here, which is nice. Early in the match, I'm up. You want to just try to break away, get a bunch of points under your belt. So I'm just looking at my pattern options. The 2 really only had the 1 pocket, the side pocket that I'm looking at here. And I wanted to give myself enough room off the 3 to draw back for the 4 in the side. And I have a good, pretty natural back cut here that does take me into a wide zone for the 4. Anywhere up there is going to be workable on the 4. And I was starting to settle in here. I kind of remember taking that one for granted, not really properly sighting or aiming that one. Just kind of, yeah, taking it for granted, just expecting that the pocketing of the ball was going to be basically automatic. So I relaxed a little bit too much on that one. And that's part of this new mental game discipline is you want to stay relaxed, you want to trust your automatic process, but obviously you don't want to get too relaxed and let that slip to where your fundamentals are out of place. So I leave him with a pretty tough back cut on the 3. Still makeable. He still had an angle on that 3 ball. And we're just going to knock this 3 ball back and forth a little bit here. But I do end up with a line on it, luckily. So the 3 will go. The 7 makes this a much wider pocket if for whatever reason you were to really dramatically overcut this ball. The 7's there to back you up. So just a smooth stroke here. Positions taken care of. Just a slow roll. I came way too deep into the rail. So I think same issue as that last shot. Not giving the shot the proper respect. I'll give myself that 2 ball that I made. I don't have high confidence that my score is going to make sense by the end of this. So let's see. It looks like he punched that 3 ball in there. Got a good roll. It played right into the 4 ball. Could play a simple stop shot on that 4 ball. Little unlucky with it drawing all the way over to the 6. I remember feeling kind of hopeful at this point, like, ooh, maybe I'll get back to the table this rack, because I'm still trying to work into a rhythm. And shooting over a ball is never easy, but he does make those the 3, 4, and 5. I'm trying, guys. This is new to me. I'm gonna go like ball for ball while talking through all this. Hammers in that 6 ball. That looks good. He's not happy with it, though. I'm not sure if he wanted to come around a lot farther. He's fine here. You can come high inside on this 7 ball. Got ahead because he was waiting for somebody. You can come high inside and just drift down back below the 9, or you can come back around. I don't recommend that, coming out long. You could kind of go low outside to make that a little easier. But yeah, if he knocks this 9 ball in, he's going to almost level out the score. Which he does. So 10-9. We were having trouble with the racks tonight, but I remember getting a pretty clean rack right away on that one. So makes a whole bunch. 2, 3, 4, 5 on the table, so a total of 4 balls, one of them being the 9 ball. 1, 2, 3 regular balls, and then 2 for the 9. So on a break shot, takes him up into the lead. So 1 ball on the break that time puts him up to 15. But not much of an option on the 1 ball. He does have the right side of the 1 available to him. And a lot of players, especially level 6 and up, skill level 6 and up, will consider the cross bank here, and I think that's what he does. Yeah, pretty natural cross bank. Played it well. Got kind of unlucky to knock into the 3 and the 6. And he's got full sight on the 2, but no pocket for it. It doesn't bank cross corner, and it does not go past the 8. I'd be tempted to try for a safe here. Maybe thinning the 2 and getting down below the 8. Bank the 2 across table behind the 5 and the 9. Kind of tough to judge, but not a great situation. I don't know what the attempt was there. I don't know if he was going for the combo or if he maybe judged that the 2 ball would go past the 8. Didn't look like it would to me. And I'm in a touchy spot now. There's the possibility of really taking advantage of big valley pockets and trying to play off this rail. Cue ball goes off this rail and back across. Hard to judge, hard to trust the cut and the roll on the table, and I'm not feeling super comfortable yet. I did end up feeling comfortable with a safe here, so a simple roll through the 2 ball, leave the cue ball on the 6. So this is still my attempt to feel out the table and find what's comfortable. In this case, it's a slow roll, but you're playing basically straight into that ball. Worked out. It's a good play. The guy sitting next to me was on my opponent's team, and he was like, "Nice shot, damn it." So I felt good about that one. I'm just trying to find the speed. I think he's looking down table because he might have been considering a long kick at it or a 2 rail. I think I would naturally walk up to the table. I had plenty of room over here, and I would look at the one rail, not into the side pocket, but more like one of these. So early game, I do like to implement more defensive plays, more safety plays, instead of going all aggressive all the time, especially handicap formats like this, because you can't afford to be giving stuff away. Defense worked out perfectly there. We're going to get ball in hand. Wait for the cue ball to stop rolling, grab the 2. And we just have to think about getting good shape on the 5, so I immediately walk over to see where I would like to be on the 3, where I would like to be on the 5. So anywhere along the line on this side of the 5 would be nice. So just a bit of a punch stroke. Oh, not even kind of just smooth draw stroke. And I roll through this high ball, kind of high inside. Come back down for the 5. Using that second rail to open up the cue ball line. So 2 more for me. And I've ended up on somewhat the back side of the 5. And I have to look at negotiating some traffic here. Getting below the 5 this way would have been nice because the cue ball would go towards the 6. Unfortunately, now I have to think about getting between the 7 and the 9, which I do. That looked pretty good. Well judged, good cut. He complimented that one. He said he didn't think I had enough space to get through. Now I've got kind of severe back cut on the 6 ball. It does take me back around for the 7. You've got plenty of table space. You don't want to let your stroke out too much on this, but you want to make sure you give the 6 enough energy to get into the pocket. Myself that 5 ball and the 6. I let it out just a little too much. I'm like nodding to myself like, yeah, that figures. Part of why I said I was excited about this match, the commentary for this match, and kind of dreading it is just felt like the pool gods were working against me all night. Had trouble getting into a rhythm here, but I have some good plays. I find some ways to sort of work out of this. I'm just going for a kick shot here. I want to try to kick in the 7 ball. I didn't really like my chances of going safe. Pretty close. I mean, good hit on the 7 and pretty close to making it. Almost got into a good position, leaving the 7 on top of the 8. I do give up a cut angle on the 7. It's a stretch. Kind of awkward cueing here, so yeah, he's going to have to stretch over. Not comfortable. He goes for a safe, which I like. I like the safe play here. Plays the 7. Was not his intention, obviously. Yeah, he got a kick out of that one. But stretch again. Let's see if he can cut in this 8 ball, which he does not. Airball. So ball in hand from the 8 to the 9. We should be able to handle this one, right? I set this up. I'm going automatic. I'm just trying to go autopilot here. Maybe rushing myself a little bit. Yep. Overplayed that. So we got that point, but man. You set that shot up for me at home. The 8 to the 9 with ball in hand. That's 10 out of 10. I'm making both of those balls easy. So silly you would overrun that. Just the nerves from competition. We'll get there though, guys. You're going to see improvements. Feeling good about these new skills. I decided to go aggressive here. I decided to go for the long bank. Nothing but net. Got that one. So made 2 on the break. Yep. And I've got to look at the 3, which is nice. So I consider trying to play into this window. I also know that I can draw back playing thick into the 3 and come down this side of the table. I'm trying to decide what the best window is, the highest percentage window is making the 3. And you have options, offense or defense, either way. If you get down into here, you can play the bank, the cut shot, or a defense. So I play pretty full into the 3 and decide to draw down. A little friendly nudge from the 7 ball. And I get a good line on this 4. The bank plays pretty naturally, and you can just draw out of this to get towards the 5. Yeah, the bank plays well. Go to look at the back of the 5 ball here. Still, yeah, my pace. I do feel like I'm rushing it a little bit. I think about punching out 2 rails to come around for the 6. You can also play this high inside. Dog that 5 ball. Just this kind of speed was weird. I raised the hand because I put him behind the 6 ball accidentally. Now he's got a touchy kick. Some players might look at long rail this way, which can be hard to judge. I think I would naturally look at a 1 rail if you can get below the side. Chance of kicking it in. Might be trying for the 3 railer. Oh, 2 rail was open too. He almost had it. So ball in hand here. Once you make the 5 and get good on the 6, kind of connect the dots from there. So I just look at my line on the 6. 6 takes me right to the 7, so I go scout that out. I'm still trotting around the table. Something I'm thinking a lot about now with this making things automatic. I want to give myself enough time to second guess stuff. Made that 5 ball. You guys keep me honest with my score. Working on it. See if we can have that make sense. So practically stop shot on the 6, follow shot on the 7 to get up for the 8. 6 goes down. And I got good on the 7, so you just roll forward. Plenty of space for the 8 ball, and almost anywhere you end up on the 8 ball, you're going to be able to get to the 9 ball. If I look at it, you can come 1 rail into the short rail and come back up. You could go around if you want to. You could draw off this and come back out that way. I opt for the 1 rail, nice and simple. And just stay steady on this 9 ball, float through, put that one away. Looking good. Switched over to the other side of the table for the break. Just reading the rack. I want to find where the good lines are. Wing ball flies in. I am still not controlling the cue ball. I just made 1 ball in the break, and I do not have a look at the 1. So that's why I was kind of jabbing at it, kind of frustrated that the cue ball position's been off. I'm normally pretty good with. Somebody mentioned in the comments, thank you by the way, about my break shot being pretty consistent, that I get that pop and I manage to usually keep the cue ball center table. I've worked on that for a long time. And the break shot video is forthcoming. I've been working on it. I want to make sure it's really dialed in and addresses all the questions and gives you guys some stuff to think about, some stuff to work on. From here, the kick is not on, the 9 and the 2 are in the way. The masse could work around the 6, but it's touchy. We all know if you've attempted one of those, they're hard to control. If I were in Masters League or a tournament, I might be tempted to jump, but you cannot jump in normal APA League and Weekly League. So what I look at is long rail kick from here. A good hit on the 1 can either get you safe, you have a chance of making it, banking it back down. Pretty close. We get a good kick out of it? Not really. So I had a good little run going on there. Combination, some defense and some rolls. But my opponent gets back to the table with a pretty open layout. Pockets the 1. Gotten good on the 2, but he has to get back up after the 4. The 5-7 lines up. See how he negotiates this. Pretty firm draw stroke. There's a lot that could have gone wrong with that, but he managed to get up above the 4 and has kind of a thin blind back cut on the 4. But he's seen these before, so he kind of addresses it. A good approach with this one. Gives himself plenty of room. Puts a good stroke on it. Works out. Combo on the 5-7. So these can be tricky. There's a good bit of distance between the 5 and the 7. And the 7 can roll off if you cut it wrong. You also want to think about your speed. You still want to have a shot available to you on the 5 after you make the 7. So overcut the 7. And lays up a combination for me to follow up. The 7 is close to the rail. I don't believe it was frozen to the rail. But lays up that combination. And same issues. Mine are a bit closer. But same issue in terms of controlling the speed enough to allow yourself a shot on the 5 after the fact. So I do hold off a bit on the stroke to, try to basically hold the cue ball for the 5. And I held it too much. Did not make the 7. Maybe got a little greedy with the position there. I had some room, as you could see. The cue ball could have continued to roll. That energy could have transferred over into the 5-7 that would have helped me out. So he's got to think about trying to either leave the 5 in the pocket or commit to making it, playing low like he is. He committed to making it, gets him 2 points, but he gets kind of wonky on the 6. If you're going to commit to that, you have to try to play for both. That you play a draw stroke on the initial ball, knowing that might roll in, and trying to also give yourself position on the 6 as a backup. He's not too bad here. I mean, the 6 is a makeable ball. It's a long shot, kind of a difficult cut to judge. Yeah, gets into the rail with that one. But he doesn't leave me much. He takes that one pretty hard. I'm kind of frustrated about that one. But he doesn't leave me much. The 6 does not go past the 8, so now I'm left to consider cross corner bank on the 6. Some kind of defense shot. Play thin off the 6 and come up above the 8. Stick him behind the 8. It's hard to judge that. A lot that can go wrong there. I think you go offense. I think you try for the combo or the cross corner bank, whichever you feel more comfortable with. So I line up the combo. Not unplayable. Valley table pockets can be forgiving, as we know. Played 2 full into that 8 ball, so I missed the combo cut pretty bad. But almost got a little bonus 6 ball. Did not cooperate for me. So he played that one with high inside, it looked like, to spin around 3 rails for the 8. Lots of other ways to get on the 8 ball. This works out fine for him, though. 8 goes down. The funny thing with the handicap format, you can feel like you're working so hard. He's kind of keeping it even right now. 2 ball goes down. Just 1 on the break, 1 ball on the break, and then he's got a good look at the 1. Doesn't seem thrilled with it, though. I'm not sure why. I think he's okay. He can get from the 1 to the 3. One ball down. Didn't really think about the 3 to the 4 too much. Might have just felt like overhit it. Not sure if the plan was just to thin the 3 and leave himself, there up table, I guess. So he had a plan, but just overhit it. So 1 rail kick, bit of a kind of spin into it. It's hard to do if your cue ball's on the rail. I like this coming into the backside of it. Good chance to thin it and make it. Ooh, nice touch. I've got an open look at the 4. These are kind of fun. You can play rail first and come around the 4. You don't really want to mess with the traffic too much. Coming thin into the right side of the 4 sends the cue ball back up table, and you can let it open up this way, or you can come a little thicker into the 4 and try to play into this side of the 5. Just commit to one side or the other. These are worth practicing if you don't practice these. Just judging the cut and the speed really pays off. Unfortunately, in this case, the cut was well judged, but the speed was a bit overplayed. I'd rather have underplayed that to be above the 5, so at least I have some options of getting on the 6 ball from there. So the cut on the 5 is available, but there's no positional advantage to that. I look at banking the 5 back into the 6. You can make the 6 that way, or you could tie it up. I look at thinning the 5, but really that just sends the 5 towards the pocket, leaves it open for him. This felt like kind of a stumper to me at the time. I think just looking back on it, I do like this bank, but you want to play it with enough pace for a chance to make it. I didn't fully commit to making it or making it a defense, so that was the error in that situation. So combo for him again. But pretty straightforward. 6 is close to the pocket. 6 cooperates with him. Got shape on the 5. Just think about staying above the 7 ball and you should have some kind of cut. Hammers that 5 ball in there. Gets good, floats down pretty nicely for the 7. Seven cooperates. And he comes all the way around. He's basically stuck on the rail, all but perfectly straight in on the 8 ball. He took a minute to walk around and think about this one, and then I think he had to wait for a player behind him too, so I do cut some time. But this shot, you have some options. You can play the 8 into this side of the pocket and sort of force follow through. You can't really play draw here unless you really want to dig into the cue ball. You can also just roll forwards and accept the cut into the side. He plays the 8 ball with some good force follow, but then 8's dead, and he gives up ball in hand on the 9 ball. He just gives that one to me, so I come away with 2 points. We're even again, at least by my score, which is probably wrong at this point. There's a good break shot. A little bit of a hop, good cue ball. Made the 1 ball on the side. Made a total of 3 balls on the break. So that's what we're looking for. My goal is to have the cue ball end up between these diamonds, to not touch the rail, to not get to the rail. I want to be in this area. And obviously you want to make a ball. The wing ball or the 1 ball would be ideal. I've got a back cut on the 2. I was thinking about playing into the 3-9 to push those out into a good position. So I play kind of smooth, low outside, just undercut that 2 ball slightly. And I leave him kind of between the 3 and the 4, but I do remember, I think he had a window at the 2 ball in this case. I think he had a look at it. Might have been trying cross corner bank, which is worth trying, but unfortunately the attempt sold out the 2. So I've got that hanging over the side pocket. I go over to double check. I'm not perfectly straight in on the 2. I have to work it with the cut a little bit, but I'll be able to get good on the 3. And then you cut into the 3, come down into this short rail and float back up above the 4. Right, there's the 2 ball. I got good on the 3, and I had options for how to get on the 4. And I looked at where I wanted to be on the 4. Rolled through, and I let up on that one big time. I put the 3 away, but I mean, I think I was trying to hold it too much. I was really thinking about wanting this cut angle on the 4 so that I could get up to the 5 somehow. I think realistically you overplay that 3 ball, and then you're guaranteed to have a good cut on the 4. Even if you're here, you can still do that same thing. But if you're above it, then you've got options like I did before. That's the play. I'm learning that you overplay that 3 ball if you need to. Now I have to think about cutting the 4 inside or sending it up table like this, which would have been a really good play, except for the scratch. So speed was just slightly misjudged on the cue ball. 4 ball speed was great. That's pretty much exactly where I wanted to leave the 4. So unfortunate. Giving up ball in hand. He almost rolled that right into the pocket, but he gets the 4. 5 can take you to the 8. You have to undercut this to stay above the 8, or you just decide to play below it. But makes the 5. He gets a little weird on the 8. Does not consider a safe as far as I can tell. Commits to this long table, run it down the rail type shot, which he does make like a hero, and puts himself down perfectly on the 9. Just a little bit of a back cut. More for the 9. I might have missed the point on that 8 ball. I don't even know. Don't know how to keep score, guys. Play pool. Get kicked in? Nope. Made a ball, though. Gave him a point for the ball. Did that one. Just comedy of errors over here. Yeah, somehow he didn't get kicked in, despite a lot of kicks, a lot of cue ball movement. He's got a good long shot on the 1 to deal with, and no positional guarantee. The 1 drifted out on him. Is it going to dress up for me? No way. It's not that kind of night. Nobody's dressing up for me. So let's see. Super thin cut on the 1, kind of like what he had to do on the 8. It's available. It's makeable. But then what? You go back and forth a whole bunch, and then you have to play safe on the 2 or something? Don't love that. Cross corner bank goes. I don't remember considering that, actually, now that I look at it. That's playable, because you play that and bring the cue ball back up table. You could hook yourself, I guess. Maybe I did consider it and didn't like it. I go with a safe. So I go low outside. And my thought was to put him up behind the 8, which was working out, but didn't quite take the right angle off the 1. So I leave him a long cut shot on the 1, but still makeable. The way things are rolling, he'll probably make this one and get perfect on the 2. Yep, makes the 1. And gets perfect on the 2. It's a cool shot. I mean, the speed was well judged. The cut was good. You love to see it. Combo, 2 into the 3. The 2 stays there for you. No worries there. Yeah, he didn't want to take any chances on that combo. Two can put you right on the 5, easy enough. Gotta do a little work to get over on the 6 unless you want to just accept the cut shot. The rail shot on the 6. But you're better off just bearing down and making the 5. Which he does. Just accept the cut on the 6. Nice easy pace here. 6 cooperates. Long shot on the 7, but not a hard shot. Position is very secure. Hammers in the 7 and then scratches. Tough one. He was about to run that table. So 7's dead, no points for that, and then leaves me ball in hand 8 to the 9. This is one of those if I set it up at home things. We love to say stuff like that, don't we? Yeah, this is a 10 out of 10 for me. See how it goes in competition. Made the 8 ball, low outside to spin it down, use that rail to open it up. Very manageable on the 9 ball. Take that. Almost leveled out, but he is ahead, and he only goes to 55, so he's quite a ways ahead. Scratch on the break. We talked about the rack a little bit. He was saying that he felt like it was a good rack, and I said I'm not sure that it was the rack. It did seem to me like he was trying to give me a good rack, but just could not get the break to work for me. It's not only the giving up ball in hand thing, which is bad enough, but all the balls you make are dead, so you don't get those points. So he made that 1 ball. I don't think I gave him that point. Was trying to get too fancy off the 2 ball to get down for the 3. And he hooks me. It looks like I could maybe thin the 2, but the edge of the ball was not available, and I did not trust coming in rail first. Just didn't like what I would get from that side. So I consider the kick into this rail. Yeah, and so I'm looking at the lines that take you either rail first and then into the 2. Gives you a pretty good chance of making it. Or if you come a little deeper into the rail, you go into the 2 ball first and kick in safe. That could be a good play. Send the 2 ball in and out, and the cue ball just comes into the 3. I go for the make here, which is okay. I don't know if I really needed to be going aggressive. I think the plan was to guarantee the hit. But it worked out okay. It worked out fine. I did sell out the 2 ball, but he's got a stretch on it. When you're stretching, your queuing is going to be affected. So pokes that one in, but it's a little messy on the 3 ball. Yeah, he was talking to me about not knowing he was going to touch the 3, but not needing to nudge it into this position. He tries the cross corner bank on the 3, and it does not cooperate for him. And he leaves me an open shot, if you can believe it. I've actually got to look at the 3, and I can figure out position on the 4. You could try to hold it. You can go really thin into the 3 and try to hold it here for the 4. It's touchy. That is what I go for. The bank's not bad, honestly. You can kind of bank it same way, and the cue ball's going to have less energy by the time it gets up to here. Otherwise, you overplay this a little bit, try to get between the 4 and the 7, and get past the 4 so that you're on this side of the 4. I did sort of both and neither. I cut the 3 thin, but didn't ensure a good position on the 4. I look at defense. I look at thinning the 4 and trying to send the cue ball behind the 8, either onto that side of the side pocket or the top side. I didn't end up liking that. 9 is basically hanging over the side. It's got a little space before the edge. And so I look at carom off the 4 into the thick side of the 9 ball. There's a lot of 9 ball to hit here to make it. I just decide to grab a couple points here and get into the next rack. Better break shot. Cue ball goes into the side rail. did make a ball, so 8 ball drops. Myself that one. But I'm hooked. This would be jumpable. Can't jump. This would be a push shot situation as well, but you can't push. So normal league, they make you work for it. That's what they say in the APA rules for the equalizer and why they don't allow push shots and jump shots. And the thinking is it would give an unfair advantage to more skilled players. Certainly room for debate there. I can understand that a lot of players would not be motivated to learn how to jump or learn the mechanics of a push, but to me, if you want to encourage everybody to get better, make everything available to everybody. So then they would be encouraged to learn how to jump or push. In this case, they don't even have to, all players don't have to learn how to do all those things. Hot take. I think it's silly. I think everybody should be able to do all the things. Same rules. Meanwhile, I'm making a crazy kick shot. I line up on that one. There wasn't a great chance to get safe. I knew that if I cut the 1, I would get down below the 2. So I just walked up to that one and felt good about it, which is cool. It's not a super high percentage shot for me, but it felt good in that situation. Make sure I give myself the point. I'm just up on my soapbox here. Meanwhile, I'm forgetting to actually do the real video thing. Pocket the 2, and I tried to stay thick on the 3 ball to give myself a good line on the 4. I try to hold this ball, which I do pretty well. I still have a back cut on the 4. I was hoping to get a little higher. I didn't really have that available from the 3. The hope was play the 4 so that the cue ball drifts this way. In this case, the cue ball's wanting to come off the other side. So I want to punch it over to this rail and back over for the 5. I just shoot it into the rail instead. A bad miss. It's frustrating. I needed to catch a gear here. I needed to clear a table and figure this one out. But sell out the 4. He got good on the 5 ball, so he can just hit a good draw stroke to get him down below table. A stop shot would do here. You don't have to complicate this. Any kind of angle on the 6 is going to work. But he puts a draw stroke on it. Gets down pretty straight on the 6, a little bit of an angle to work with. He's being kind of hard on himself, it seemed like. Just didn't like any of the results that he was getting. I don't know anybody who does that. I'm gonna roll through this ball. Took the high ball. Didn't get a lot out of it, but he's still okay. Got the cut on the 7, takes you naturally into the 9. 7 and the 9 cooperate. He's getting close. He's got to get to 55, and he's breaking. He makes a bunch of them, but he scratches. That's frustrating. Yeah, he makes 2 balls on the break. I've got ball in hand. Get good shape from the 2 to the 3. You have to think about how to get position for the 4 ball. You don't want to contend with this combination. So this is your window for the 4. The idea would be kind of punch over from the 3, and then from the 3, draw up table for the 4. Got good on the 3. I wanted to make sure that I drew back enough so that I was guaranteed to be in the position window, getting from the 3 to the 4. I'm looking at that line. Camera discipline here. Oh, we might get lucky with the camera angle. Let's see. That's a good pace, I think. Took my time with this one, but I'm still trusting the stroke. Good draw stroke. Clean off the 4. Didn't touch the 5. He complimented that one. He liked my speed control on that one. Give myself the point. Cut on the 4. Don't really want to hold it. It doesn't. The 5 doesn't go here, so you have to. Some players might go high inside and try to come around. I don't really like that. I would just come high ball or high slightly outside to drift straight down. And you've got room. You could utilize this second rail to bounce yourself back up. Could have used it even more. And now I'm left with a bit of a longer shot on the 5 than I'd like, but still very makeable and safe position. Make the 5. Even if you underplay it and you end up in here, you're going to be fine on the 7. In fact, being there on the 7 is good because you've got that back cut to bring you towards the 8. If you let your stroke out a little bit, you're going to come up and out for the 7. 7d8 is kind of challenging to negotiate here. I don't know if I gave myself that 4-ball point or not. Got me again. Giving myself the 5-ball though. Got that one. We end up kind of flat on the 7, which is tough. You can't really, when you're this flat, you can't really punch into this rail and get much out of it. I can make the 7 clean, but really the play would be to hit it with a draw stroke and avoid the scratch. Yeah, I punched it. I was trying to sort of fabricate an angle, and I played it well in terms of where I made the 7-ball, but I didn't get anything out of that angle. You just can't really fabricate it. So now I'm in a tough spot. The 8 doesn't go down here. Cut is very thin to the top corner there, and trying to judge this long table bank is challenging from here without a positional guarantee. So I consider a safety coming off the right side of the 8 and coming back around either above the side pocket, or above the corner pocket, I mean, or just below the 9. As long as you get below the 9, you're in a pretty good, chances are pretty good of blocking the 8, but I misplayed it. And this is frustrating too, because I know, oh, I think I remember by this point he only needed, I'm going to guess, I think he only needed 3 points, because I remember feeling like this sold out the game. But he missed the 8-ball. Oh. Kind of awkward cueing. He was sort of shooting around the 9. But yeah, that one hurts. And I get another chance. So thin cut on the 8. You just got to judge your speed to come back across table for the 9. But we know how to do these. Good. 8 cooperates. Don't waste any time on that one. Just put that away. He's disappointed. He felt like he could have finished the game off that way. 2 balls on the break. And I've got not much on this 2-ball. So just checking on the scoring, I think. So I've got work to do. I got to get to 65. You could consider the carom off the 2 into the 3. That's playable. There's not guaranteed position because you're going to be sending the 2-ball back this way. You could try to come thin off the 2 and get down below the 9 and the 8. I rather like that looking at it now. I consider coming off the left side of the 2, creating distance, sending the 2 down table. Hard to control, especially because we're partially queuing over the 6. Maybe not my best decision here. I played the 2 pretty thin into that rail. There was a lot that could go right with that, the way it was played, and unfortunately it just went terribly wrong. The 2 found its way over to the cue ball, and he's got a straight shot on the 2. guaranteed position on the 3. So just bear down and make this 2-ball. And he's just got to figure out how to get from the 3 to the 4. But he's looking at a 3-ball out. Flirted with that 8-ball a little bit. I mean, almost rolled too far. Knew he needed to get past the 6, but yeah, almost overplayed that one. Had enough of the 3 to get past it. And he was super disappointed here because he felt like he blocked himself on the 4, but he did not. He does have a line on this 4-ball. And he makes the 4. So that's game time. We chatted a little about that one at the end. So there's a lot to talk about there. Mental game is shaky for me right now. I'm trying to assimilate new things, trying to incorporate new skills. And that's tough, right? I mean, they're not second nature for me. Like I said, that stuff is not automatic. Just need more time on the table. I need more practice with it. Bringing that into competition is guaranteed to yield mixed results. So that's what we're seeing here. Thrown off my original game, trying out new things. It's tough. So we're gonna see a little bit of shakiness here, but I gotta work on it. I gotta incorporate this new stuff before we get to the big leagues. You know, we're gunning for Vegas with Masters, and regular league is a good place to work on that. So we're trying to trot that stuff out here. There was some cool stuff tonight too, right? This league match, a lot of stuff was going well. I do think the final score, I remember needing 10 points. So I think I had 55, 56, something like that by the time the dust settled. But lots to work on, lots to learn from this. Thanks to all of you who checked out the stream. This is the first time I did a live stream, so that was cool too. And yeah, just working on improving the channel and improving the game and doing all the things all at once. So if you made it all the way to the end of the video, thanks. I didn't throw up the little subscribe stuff. Not always going to do call to actions like that, but I appreciate those of you that are here. I love all the comments, love getting to know you guys and helping you out with your games, and we're all here to learn together. So if you have not already subscribed, I know some of you are out there lurking and not subscribed. It does help out the channel a lot, so pop that subscribe button, hit like, do all the YouTube things, and I will see you guys again soon for the next one.